Intensity. Think of people in your life that are intense. What are they like? What does it mean to be an intense human being? And so when I think intensity, I think great energy, strength, focus, concentration, or concentrated energy, if you will. Years ago, as a rookie owner, I was accused of being a mellow coach. Jamie, you're too easy going. You're too mellow. Nothing bothers you so much. You've got to become more intense. Intensity means in 10 cities. You'll expand your business into 10 cities. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way of looking at intensity. And sure, I want to become a more intense human being. And so I really worked on that. And so when I think of an intense person, I think of Brennan Fulkerson. I think intensity and I think intentionality when I think of Brennan. In 2022, he was the most profitable, productive owner in the business. And in my opinion, what's even more impressive is the group of owners that are spawning from his business are just as productive as he is. His pound for pound is one of the highest in our industry. Okay, so Peter Drucker says, nothing happens by fluke. If somebody's successful, study it and put some structure around that. So that's what I'm really trying to do with Brennan's business. What's going on in his business? And again, I can't help but think of intentionality and intensity. The intentionality piece, when you show up and watch Brennan, he shows up 2 hours before everybody shows up. He's putting some thought behind what do I want people to know? What do I want them to do? How do I want them to feel? So again, the culture in his business is very important to him. And then I'm telling you, when the lights go on, when people show up, there's awesome energy and intensity happening in that business. So I sat down with Brennan and wanted to ask him his thoughts behind intensity and what that means to him. So I hope that you guys enjoy this interview with Mr. Brennan Fulkerson.
So when I think of the word intensity, it reminds me so much of creating momentum. I think if you understand the formula for momentum is focus plus intensity over time. So then when you think of the word intensity, I think of my goals. I think of what drives me, my purpose, and when you tap into your passion and you know what you're after and what you want to accomplish, I think that the inner beast can come out. And every day, just having a small actionable plan or just an idea of what can I do today that's going to take me one step further than where to where I want to be. And I think sometimes if you have big goals that'll take years and years to accomplish, sometimes it can be hard to tap into that intensity. And so by taking a big goal and breaking it down into smaller sort of bite-sized pieces, you can really start to find that intensity to accomplish what you want to accomplish every day. So I think of three things that are reflection questions that I think really help drive the intensity that I play with every day. And it's a reflection sort of exercise I ask at night, and I ask myself basically three questions. What do I feel like I did really well today? What do I feel like I might have struggled with, or something I screwed up, or I'd like that opportunity back? And then here's the key. What do I want to accomplish tomorrow? So when I fall asleep at night, I'm able to reflect on what I did well. So I'm reinforcing the good. I'm focusing or bringing attention to maybe what I screwed up. And then I'm creating a plan for what I want to accomplish for the next day. And I think when you do that, you'll wake up with purpose. You'll wake up with drive because you've already thought about it and you know what today means and what I'm trying to accomplish. And it's not always the rah-rah, like let's go get them. And obviously that can be intensity. But I think intensity is just with how you show up, with your preparation, with your focus, what you're paying attention to, your little habits. And if you just stack those little things every single day, you'll be able to create what I think ultimately everyone's wanting to create is momentum and lots of success. And intensity is certainly a piece of that formula. So is intensity important? I mean, I think of course, right? Of course intensity is important, but is it something that I wake up every day thinking like, oh, I got to be intense today? No, I don't think it's a conscious thing, but I think when you are in tune with what you want, you know your goals, you know what you're trying to accomplish, and there's purpose and vision to your actions and behavior, I think intensity is something that just naturally follows that. And so, thinking on, just our business and kind of, sales or running a company, people want to know they're a part of something. Going back to when I would play sports, I think it was, you wanted to be a part of a team that had a unified purpose, a goal. If you're a football team, you're trying to win the Super Bowl. If you're a hockey team, you're trying to win the Stanley Cup. And there's a united purpose to what the team is trying to accomplish. And when you bring a bunch of people together, it starts with the leader, but the leader with a lot of other people working towards that same vision, you will find that intensity comes with it. And a bunch of other great things come with it too, like accountability and discipline and how everybody shows up. And it starts with you. How you show up is how other people will also show up. And so if you show up with your hair on fire every day, you're ready to go, you know what you're after, you know what you're trying to accomplish, the right people will get in line and get behind that. And so, I built my own business in Miami. We started off with a small team. We were 5 or 6 people. But if you would go back and if you would interview and talk to people back then and said, hey, did you think Brendan was going places? Did you think he was going to accomplish a lot? Does any of this success surprise you? I can guarantee you everybody back then, if you interviewed him, would say, oh, hell yeah, I know for a fact he was going places because of how he showed up. He knew he wanted to run a top office. He knew he wanted to be successful. He wanted to build a big business, and he talked big game. And by talking big game, I believed that big game. It wasn't like I was just saying it to say it. I truly believed we were going to go places. And by casting that vision and having that intensity, the right people get behind that. And so we started to get the right people on board. We started to build the foundation of what our company, was eventually going to turn into and where we're going to be, right? Like, we're very far away from where we're going to be, but we're a heck of a lot further than where we used to be. And I think by having that vision, knowing what you're after and showing up the right way, to me, that's why intensity is important. So if you're trying to level up your intensity, I think naturally when you hear that word, I think a lot of people think it's the rah-rah, like, oh, beast mode and you're going to be something that you're not. I think where a lot of your confidence will come is realizing that you are enough and that who you are is good enough. And I think the more that you can be comfortable in your own skin and not trying to be, there's only one Brendan, there's only one Jamie. And knowing who you are, creating your own identity for yourself and knowing what you want to accomplish and where you're going to go in your life should give you all the confidence in the world that you need. And realizing that this version of you is not the final chapter. It's, you have a long story of what your life will look like. And realizing that maybe you're on chapter 1, and you can't compare it to maybe me, I'm on chapter 15, Jamie might be on chapter 40. Just realizing that you're writing your own story of what your life and in your career will look like. And turning the page and starting a new chapter can be a beautiful thing. And I think when you realize that and you finally tap in and you finally realize like, hey, I know what I want, I know what I'm after, and I know how I want this book to go, you'll find that intensity because you'll get excited to write the pages and write the chapters of what your life will look like. But it's starting to realize that, hey, you have a blank canvas, you have the pen, it's time to realize, hey, it's about time to get to work and I'm going to start writing the story for my life and in my career. And if you do that, I think, you'll naturally just find yourself becoming more and more intense as you start to get more and more clear about what you want and how you want your story to go. So when it comes to ending every meeting, right, you're talking to people, you're giving information, I'm getting excited, I get passion, I get fired up. My company is called MTN, which stands for Make Them Notice. My goal is to be so good we can't be ignored. And every day in business is a game, is an opportunity to go out and prove what you can do for yourself, for your team, for your family. And it's your name on the back of the jersey. And so every time when I end a meeting, we bring it in, everyone throws their hand in and we go, we got winning on 3, 1, 2, 3, let's go. And the tolerance I have for people that don't want to win is pretty small because in business, business doesn't care about your feelings or if you have a little bit of a sniffle or a cold. Business cares about one thing, and that's results, and that's what the marketplace cares about. So when we finish our meetings, it's 1, 2, 3, win, and we're out of there, and let's go make some stuff happen. And if you can stack those days together, week after week, day by day, month by month, year by year, and then your career is many decades. If you can execute every single day with that level of intensity and that commitment, you're going to get to your goals.